to Metal Ben's Chronicles, where metal lives. That's right, we got a different kind of video coming up today. That's right. A video I kind of been wanting to do for a while, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to finally do it. I just recently talked about doing this video again. And, well, it's going to be my opinion who the best rhythm guitar players are in hard rock, heavy metal. You know, definitely mainly metal. A lot of thrash players in here. And I have a tie for number one, so technically there's 11 in this list due to the fact I could not pick between my number one and two. So let's get on with the list here. Okay. Coming in at number 10, we got Rudolf Schenker of the Scorpions. I know what people are thinking, but Metal Ben, his riffs are simple. There's nothing to them. Okay, let me explain. Sometimes simple is better. And let's be honest, Rudolf Schenker wrote some very memorable riffs, pertainingly in the late 70s to mid 80s period of the Scorpions. Even in the, even through the 70s in the Roth era, there were some memorable riffs. But yeah, I put Rudolf Schenker here. Come on, everybody knows Rock You Like a Hurricane. Blackout, No One Like You, China White, one of the best Schenker riffs. Then you got other songs like The Zoo, the title track, Animal Magnetism, Make It Real. Going back to the 70s with Love Drive, Loving You on a Sunday Morning. Yeah, man, he's written some excellent riffs, even going back to the 70s. With tracks like Top of the Bill and Trance, tracks like They Need a Million, Speedy's Coming, prime examples of some memorable Schenker riffs. So yes, Rudolf Schenker, there comes in at number 10, coming in at number 9. This guitar player could definitely rank a lot higher too, but when you're putting a top 10 list together, you got to put him somewhere. I went with Scott Ian. Scott Ian of Anthrax SOD, one of my main influences, one of the reasons why I play guitar. Just early on, he wrote some of the heaviest, most crunching riffs, especially in SOD, man. Like on Speak English or Die, man, that album is just full of riffs. Those early Anthrax albums like Spreading the Disease, Fistful of Metal Among the Living, even, State of Euphoria, there was riffs all through those albums. Why Scott Ian's in my list, Okay, coming in at number 8, I have Gary Holt of Exodus. Rightfully so, because to me, Gary Holt's one of the greatest thrash metal rhythm guitar players. An excellent lead guitar player too, but come on, man, he wrote some excellent rhythms. Bonded by Blood, come on, that album's full of riffs. Even albums like Pleasures of the Flesh, for some reason that album gets some hate. I don't know why. I think it's a good Exodus album. Fabulous Disasters, full of freaking riffs. I mean, come on, man. Some of the best in the freaking business when it comes to thrash metal. Okay, coming in at number 7, we have another Schenker on here. Talking about Rudolph's younger brother, Michael Schenker. I know what people are thinking, but he's a lead guitar player. Well, then somebody explained to me who writes the rhythms, because, Michael Schenker's in UFO was the only guitar player. So, Michael Schenker wrote a lot of cool riffs. Come on, man. Doctor, Rock Bottom's one of the greatest fucking riffs. Definitely a proto new wave of British heavy metal riff, with Rock Bottom. You got other tracks like, Let It Roll, Lights Out, Yeah, man, just a ton of memorable riffs. I mean, you go back and listen to those old UFO albums, like Force It, Obsession, Lights Out, Phenomenon. You're going to hear riffs throughout those albums. So yeah, that's why Michael Schenker comes in at 7 and on my list. Number 6, we got Malcolm Young. Again, I know a lot of people are going to be like, but Malcolm Young wrote the same riffs over and over. And they're simple. Hey man, like I said before, sometimes simple is better. And Malcolm Young did not have to write complicated rhythms to get his message across on the guitar. And there's a lot of memorable AC/DC riffs. I mean, you could just go through the whole AC/DC catalog and find something memorable. I mean, obviously the top tunes like TNT, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Highway to Hell, Back in Black, Hell's Bells, that whole Back in Black album. But, you got other underrated ones like Riff Raff, Whole Lot of Rosie, Squiller, you know, R.I.P. Rock in Peace, and, the list goes on and on. Just a lot of great rhythm guitar playing by Malcolm Young. Okay. Coming in at number 5, we got Dave Mustaine. Yes, a lead guitar player technically, but he's the mastermind behind those rhythms too on a lot of those Megadeth tracks. I mean, he wrote the whole Rust in Peace album, for crying out loud. Peace Sells, Yeah, he's just got a lot of excellent rhythms. Some of the most complicated rhythms, too, when it comes to thrash metal. He definitely brought that more technical aspect to his rhythm guitar playing. Which differentiated itself from Metallica and, what most of the other thrash bands were doing after, he got fired from Metallica back in, 83. So yeah, Dave Mustaine comes in at number 5. I mean, he's written some of the greatest rhythm guitar parts. It'd be stupid to not have him in my top 10 list. And he's one of my main big influences as a guitar player. Number 4, well, we got somebody that's a little more unknown. I'm talking about Jimmy P. Brown 2 from Deliverance. Man, oh man. You talk about some monster rhythm guitar playing, especially on the early Deliverance albums like the debut album, The Greetings of Death demo from 86. Weapons of Our Warfare, What a Joke. Stay of Execution. Those albums are full of excellent riffs. Some very... He had a very fast picking hand, too. Like, he could really palm mute and play fast to do all those tricky triplets and all that complicated stuff. So yeah, and I always liked Jimmy P. Brown's Mesa Boogie sound. I just freaking love it. Okay, so that's my number 4. Coming in at number 3, I got John Schaefer from Iced Earth. Yes. That's right, John Schaefer of Iced Earth coming in at number 3. And man, oh man, what a monster player John Schaefer is. Honestly, probably the fastest when it comes to, like, down picking and doing those triplets, because it's not easy to do. Trust me, it's not. And he's another one, too. He has a tremendous rhythm guitar sound. You go back and listen to Burn Offerings, Storm Rider, the debut album by Iced Earth, Dark Saga, Something Wicked, Horror Show, all those albums. He's just got a tremendous tone and structure to what he does. That's why John Schaefer's in my list. At number 2, I got Dimebag Darrell. Yes, Dimebag Darrell. I know, he's a lead guitar player, but he was the only sole guitar player of Pantera. So he wrote all those rhythms, too. And I gotta say, he was a phenomenal rhythm guitar player. There's a lot of great rhythm guitar parts on Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power. Even going back to the 80s on albums like Power Metal, You get riffs, Far Beyond Driven, Great Southern Trendkill. There is some excellent riffs in there, despite what some people say. And I know in the metal community, it's very popular to hate Pantera. Well, what can I say? Dimebag Darrell is in my list at number 2. And my number 1 is tied because I couldn't pick between these two guitar players, because these are the two main guitar players that made me want to play guitar. I'm talking about James Hetfield. So we'll talk about James Hetfield first. What more can be said? And I know, and I don't want to freaking hear it because I've heard it for over 30 years. Metallica sold out. He don't play guitar like he used to. I don't want to freaking hear it. We're talking about like James Hetfield early on. Like back when Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, Justice came out. Excellent rhythm guitar playing on those freaking albums. There's a reason why Metallica became as big as they did. Come on. You can't deny that. So yes, James Hetfield comes in at number 2. I don't going to talk much more about it because anybody that plays guitar knows James Hetfield's technique and the way he can downpick. And I've seen him live. He can still downpick to this day. I don't want to hear the fucking bullshit. And number 1 is obvious. Come on. Number 1 tied with James Hetfield, that is. I mean, this is really the sole number 1. It was just still very hard to pick between these two. Tony Iommi, the riff god himself, Tony Iommi, obviously at number 1 when it comes to rhythm guitar playing. Why? Because he invented it all. He invented that technique. You know, those doomy riffs. Even proto-thrash metal riffs with Symptom of the Universe and Children of the Grave, you know. He invented the palm mute and all that stuff, you know, and the heavy tone. So yeah, it's natural to have Tony Iommi at the top of the food chain. That's right. So yeah, that's my list. I'd like to hear other people's list on who their favorite rhythm guitar players are. So yes, like, comment, and subscribe and keep it freaking metal.